Friends, it was evening. The sunlight on the streets of Pune had become very dim, and the market was crowded with people. All the traders were ready to sell food on their push carts. In this crowd, an ordinary-looking woman was standing in front of a fuchka shop. She looked very ordinary, wearing silk clothes. She looked like a married woman from an ordinary house. She seemed to have come to buy something in the market. But people could not even imagine that this was no ordinary woman. It was a DM officer who had changed her clothes. On the side of the road, that DM madam was trying to understand what was done to ordinary women in that place. Going next to the fuchka shop, the DM madam said, "Brother, make some fuchka for me." The fuchka vendor replied enthusiastically, "Yes madam, of course, I make it very well." He quickly filled the fuchka with spiced water and served it to the madam. The fuchka taste was so good that the madam laughed and gestured for more. But the madam only. The boy was so humble and well behaved that the madam was pleased, but suddenly the atmosphere changed. 4 police officers came in a car. They looked like they were not police. They had come from somewhere. The police came and said to the fuchka seller, "Why are you here with this cart? Move it away from here. I have told you many times that you will not sell fuchka on the side of the road." But his courage has grown so much that we have gasped every day by saying the same thing. The fuchka seller was shocked to hear this and came with his hand in a humble voice and said, "Policeman, I am a very poor person. Please forgive me. I have to do this work for 2 handfuls of rice twice a day. If you remove this, will I eat it?" The police officers did not even listen to him and bowed their heads. Instead, they kicked him and dragged him. All the fuchka in his cart fell to the ground. The spiced water was all dust. The crowd in the market grew. No one could say anything because they were police officers. What should they tell them about this incident, madam? But standing there, she saw so much anger that her heart was burning. Madam stepped forward and said in a loud voice, "What kind of talk is this? You have not learned how to treat a poor person." 4 police officers looked at DM madam from top to bottom, looked at her carefully and said, "Look, the new leader of the society has come to show leadership. Hey madam, don't go to your house. This is our internal matter. Why are you poking your nose in here?" Madam took a deep breath. Red blood was coming out of madam's eyes. She said again, "The poor are being oppressed. Do you know what the legal punishment is for oppressing the poor?" Your police did not react to this. They said, "We have seen many such women. Move away. Don't disturb our work on the road. Otherwise we will put you in jail." Another one who was behind her did so. The police officer came with a strong step and slapped the madam on the cheek. People all around were looking at her face. No one dared to say anything because they were police officers. In a second, the whole weather changed. The police slapped an ordinary woman on the cheek. This incident immediately went viral. Madam's white cheeks turned red with blood. People all around were staring and couldn't imagine how a police officer could raise his hand on a woman. Some were taking out their phones to record a video, but the policemen were laughing and joking even after killing her. On the other side, police officer number 3 came and grabbed DM madam's hand and dragged her away from that place. "Virat came to teach us the law. Don't go from here." He said this and pushed madam away. On the other side, another police officer kept saying from behind, "Take this thing to the police station. Then I see how brave he is." Now DM madam thought to herself, "I can't bear it anymore. Now I have to assume my true form. If I don't tell them my real identity now, they won't stop." But in the next case, madam kept quiet. But madam also thought that if I tell them my identity now, they won't say anything out of fear. They will start showing good mentality. But I want to see how the police have been treating ordinary women and ordinary people. I have to take this drama a little further. The police officer forcibly took the woman by the wings and put her in the car. While taking her to the road, he said many dirty words to the woman. One of the police officers had to ask from behind why such a beautiful woman was out alone in the market. Another said that the girl looks very beautiful. She could be the wife of a big man. She might have run away with the leader. Another police officer from the side said that he was coming to teach us law again. "BT, look now, let me see how much rice you eat. I will take you to the police station. It will be proven that you have a father, madam." But she was listening to all the words carefully, but she didn't say anything. As soon as she brought madam to the police station, she was pushed. They locked her in the lockup. The conditions of the lockup were so bad that no animal could live there, let alone humans. There was a smell, mosquitoes and insects roaming around. It was nothing less than hell. There were red bitter leaves on the walls. There was also a urine stream on the back wall. But the most surprising thing was that there were already 5 women in that place. None of them were in a position to see their faces. As soon as she entered the locker, the other women asked the DM madam, "Sister, why did you bring you here? Let's listen to the story." DM madam took a deep breath and said softly, "I made a mistake in helping the poor." The second woman said again, "Yes sister, you are right. There is no place for poor women like us in this country. The police do not consider us as human beings." Another woman said again, "If you do not have money, then there is no point in doing all this. The police will win. You will lose the case." DM madam understood everything. It was said that the police of that area were like that. After a while, an inspector came and said to that madam, "You have come to teach us the law. Now you will not handle your law. Sign this paper. You have obstructed our work. That is why we have arrested you. This is written here. Sign this here. Keep me locked up in the lockup all night. We will try to release you in the morning." Madam got very angry and said, "I have not done anything wrong, which is all wrong." But your policeman also got angry. He slammed the table and said, "You have not lost your temper yet." The soldier tried to convince her to lock her up again. "Madam," but she was thinking to herself, "Is it time for me to reveal my real identity, or will we still see what these policemen do to the common people?" Madam finally decided that she would keep her identity hidden until the situation is resolved. After a while, an officer came with 2 constables and said, "Haven't you lost your temper now? Come here and sign. Raise both your hands and take the pen." Madam said calmly, "I have not done anything wrong, officer, so I will not sign even if I make a mistake here." The officer got angry and pointed at the soldier, and the soldier pulled Madam's hair. The police officer said, "Now forcefully win the contract. The law is teaching us a lot. It shows us anger. Isn't it a trick on the police?" Madam then said, "This is wrong. You should not do this at all. You are laying hands on a woman. The consequences will be very bad." The soldier then got angry again and said, "Wow, you have come to teach us the law. We are the police. You are showing us fear." The constable tried to forcefully hold the woman's fingers and make her sign. But Madam pulled her hand back with full force. The inspector got even angrier and said to the soldier, "This woman's anger is not decreasing. Teach her a good lesson." The soldier forcibly took the woman to another room and pushed her to the ground. The soldier said, "Now tell me, will you sign this again or will I force you more on you, madam?" But she turned red with anger. Madam was trying to tell me again and again that my compy, if you touch her, the result will be bad. But from the police to the constable, no one understood her gesture. No one even looked at her face. As soon as this incident happened, another fat officer came from behind and entered the room and said, "What is going on here? Please explain to me what is going on." Then those small officers got scared and started telling him, "Sir, look, this girl has not listened to us since then. She is obstructing our government work. And on top of that, she is beating us again." The fat officer said, "Well, you are using force on her because she is not following the rules. Yes, this is the nature of your police." Then all the officers got scared and started saying, "Sir, this woman is very clever. This woman is suspicious. We need to teach her a lesson, madam." But she looked directly into the officer's eyes. The DM madam said, "If you have studied the law at all, you probably know that it is a big crime to bring a woman to the police station on suspicion and lay hands on her. But I kept quiet for a long time, and then the fat officer said, 'Why did you arrest this woman without any evidence?' The police officer said, 'Sir, this woman was fighting on the street. We pulled her out of the fight and brought her to the police station.' The officer said, 'What happened is over. Let her go after a while.' Since the officer had ordered it, the junior officers were forced to obey the order. Madam was put back in the lockup. After a while, Madam was given a piece of bread, and stale curry was served. The curry was watery and smelled bad, but the woman didn't say anything, because the DM wanted her to see how ordinary people were treated. The next morning, the inspector came again and said, "Whatever, you are lucky. I have let you go. You have tasted your luck this time. Next time, you will not taste your luck again. You have been granted bail, and some stupid inspector keeps coming to save girls like you." When Madam was released, a reporter was standing outside the police station. The reporter saw Madam and asked, "Madam, why were you arrested here?" Madam then smiled and said that she was punished because she helped some people. Some poor people from a distance came to this police station to give their complaints, but the police scolded them and sent them home. An old woman was crying and saying, "Sir, you have caught my son for no reason. I am pleading with you. Listen to my words." The police officer didn't even look at her and scolded her again. "Don't complain too much, old lady. Leave here, otherwise I will throw you in the police station like that girl." Madam couldn't bear it anymore, but she stood there silently, looking for the right time to reveal her identity. Just then, another officer came from the opposite direction and said to Madam, "Let's go." The police officer who gave bail to this madam said, "Your father gave bail, let's get out of here." Then the journalist said, "Why are you talking like this as a police officer? Such language is not coming from you." And that journalist also asked Madam, "Why were you arrested and how well were you treated this time?" But DM Madam took out her phone from her pocket and called a person, and a voice came from the other end of the phone. "Yes, madam. Tell me, what orders are there for you?" Whenever Madam said from the other end, "What orders Madam will give?" then all the police officers present there started sweating on their foreheads. Some officers asked the soldiers, "What is the matter? Is this girl a soldier?" Then they said, "Sir, I don't know. I thought it would be some ordinary girl, so I brought her. But now it seems like a high-level officer." Madam then called and ordered that boy to come to the police station with the entire DM team in 5 minutes. And after hearing this, all the inspectors present there started sweating on their foreheads. There was a commotion all around. Within 5 minutes, 6 or 7 cars came with sirens blaring. All the police got out of the cars next to the police station. The police stood in a line with their guns. At that moment, Madam stepped forward and raised her voice and said, "I am the DM officer of this place." Hearing this, all the police officers there were afraid and couldn't find a place to hide. They didn't dare to open their eyes. The police officers who had been scolding DM Madam's cheek until yesterday, their blood ran cold. DM Madam opened her voice and said herself that when she came to the area, she saw how the police treat the common people here. No one listens to the poor. Women are treated badly. The police always think of themselves as God here. But now this will not happen again. The inspector knelt down and held Madam's feet and started crying. "Madam, forgive me. Forgive me. I didn't know you were the DM, madam." She said in an angry tone, "If I were not the DM, would you treat me like this? Would you treat the poor woman like this?" The police officers, who were talking nonsense to Madam till yesterday, were sitting in a circle at Madam's feet with their hands folded. The inspector's lips were trembling. His face was sweating. His hands and feet were trembling. They kept saying, "Madam, forgive us. We didn't understand the matter." It seemed that something had gone wrong somewhere. But DM Madam didn't soften a bit after hearing them. She was as angry as before. DM Madam then said, "If I weren't there, would you insult us like this? Would you pick me up like this? Would you slap me like this? Would you bring me to that dirty place like this?" All the officers there were scared. But some constables weren't scared. Maybe they didn't even realize how much danger they were in. DM Madam called someone else and immediately ordered them to file a case against all the police officers here. Start the investigation. No more torture will be done to any common citizen in this district. The police officers realized that their entire lives were over. The journalist's career was ruined. But the journalist was reporting the entire incident live. DM Madam went in front of the journalist and said, "Today I have seen with my own eyes how the police treat the people of this area. There is no such thing as a child. This is not a police service. This is police hooliganism. But after I come, no injustice will happen here." Hearing this, the poor people there ran to Madam and told her, "Madam, you know, they have framed us with a false case. The police here have put our son, who used to drive a Toto, in jail. They have taken my son to court as an accused in a murder case and sent him to jail. Our sons and daughters have been working hard day and night. I cannot let my daughter go out on the streets. There is no play for poor people here. Poor people, in other words, are treated like dogs." Madam immediately called 2 or 3 big ministers, and on that spot all the ministers came in a car with blue lights and sat at the feet of DM Madam with folded hands and said, "We have heard everything, Madam. What happened to you is very condemnable." The police officers were now their main asset. This is the first time they have been so humiliated in their own police station. Madam said, "Install 180 CCTV cameras in this police station, this entire area, so that no one is tortured here. I will come every day and check whether the CCTV cameras are working properly." DM Madam looked at the inspector and said, "Your life is over. Go home and take off your police uniform today, because you are going to be jailed." The police officer who slapped Madam on the cheek heard this and said, "I have children at home. Madam, I have a wife. Forgive me. They will die of hunger. My mother is in a bad condition." But DM Madam said, "When you killed an innocent woman, you did not remember these words. Like that innocent woman, you also have a wife at home." DM Madam said, in front of the camera, that everyone falls under the law when the police start atrocities without helping the people, then the police are also jailed and the police are hanged. If the police atrocities on the people, then they will have to answer. This news went viral. This news spread like wildfire on social media. All the corrupt officers were transferred, and good officers were appointed there. Even the jobs of all the officers there were also lost. After a few days, all the dishonest business in that place stopped. The atrocities of the police decreased, and the people regained their morale. Everyone knew that if they told the truth, DM Madam would be by our side. This was a big lesson. Whoever misuses his power will disappear himself. DM Madam told that if even one person does not stand up, it will not take long to change this whole world. To change everything in his own neighborhood, his own village, his own city, just one person has to stand up like this. DM Madam showed this with her eyes that if something new needs to be changed, we have to take the first step. We cannot rely on others. We have to always fulfill our duties. No one needs the power to do their duties. This incident has left a huge impression on people's minds. Seeing this incident, you may also understand that every person has to stand up against our society. Wherever there is bad action, we have to stand up. Please share the video and subscribe if you like it. Thank you very much for watching.